son, or get hold of my son and say I love you. And just to hear my son, who's now 12, and the last time I saw him he was 9.5. So let's just do a little timeline of events. Right up until the 14th of April 2022, I had a beautiful son in my life, and the mother of his son was my best friend. We did everything for 7 years. My son was in the same school and done everything. Rugby, football was amazing and loved. And we went to everything. And then on the 15th of April 2022, the very day she was meant to move into the new house that had been refurbed for her and my son, she had me arrested on an allegation of smashing through a door. Nothing to do with my son. I was arrested on that allegation, fake, and I was put in a cell. She then took my son to her mother and father's house. Her father died in March 2022. She never told me. And the WhatsApp messages right up until the 14th of April 2022 are totally normal. And even on the 12th, she mentions about moving into the new house. So on the 14th of April 2022 was the very last WhatsApp message I ever got. I was then released from the cell, and the bail conditions were not to contact the mother because she's the accuser, that's standard, but for a third party to contact her for normal child contact. Now, I spoke to my son every day, and I said to the officers at Thames Valley in Maidenhead, listen, I don't know what she's up to, but as long as there's no issue with my son. They said, no, normal child contact, Mr. Dean. They know how much I love my son. Don't worry, you just got to get like your mum or something to ring her and then voice. Well, that was on the 15th of April, middle of half term. I knew my son went back to school on the 1st of May. So although she was at her mum and dad's house now, because now that house is empty, her mum died a couple of years before that, I know that he's going back to school on the 1st of May. So over them 2-week period, my mum rung 4 times and I've never heard from my son. She sent one message saying my son will call me when he's ready. On the 1st of May, I rung my son's school to make sure he was there, and someone was going to ring me back. 2nd of May, 3rd of May, I rung every day, and then on the 3rd of May, I've been told that my son had been removed from the school on the 15th of April by email. I spent 150g at this school. No one told me. Later on, they told me that what actually happened was she sent the email. The school had never had an email like this in the middle of half term, so they took advice, and the advice was don't tell the father. So I didn't know then till the 3rd of May that my son was even going back to school. Then I get a non-molestation message on the 4th of May. Just blew my mind. I'm now completely gone. I create a 500-page defence against that non-molestation order and file it in court. I turn up at court in Worcester and I'm told 500 pages is too many. Can I filter it down to 32? I filter it down to 32. I drive back to Worcester, file it. Go back to Worcester for the court date 13 days later. Her solicitor stands up and says, we want to have this as no defence because Mr. Dean filed the paperwork a day late. He filed it on the 2nd of July. It should have been the 1st of July. 14 days before the court case, when I've had paperwork filed 1 day before the court case. I stood up and said, hang on, I filed 500 pages of defence on time. You asked me to filter it at 32. I filtered it down to 32. I've driven from London to Worcester, filed it, and now they're trying to claim no defence because I filed it a day late. It's ridiculous. We're all here. The judge went away, come back and said we're awarding the non-molestation order on no defence. We've gone with them. You filed it a day late. Then I get CAFCAS call me. I have arranged an interview in February. I go to court in January 2023. Still haven't heard from my son. 2023, I'm found not guilty of the allegation of smashing through a door. Of course I was. Fantastic. Then I'm given a restraining order for preventative reasons only because she didn't even appear in court, but she'd done a pre-written statement that said her and my son are now living in fear. Something that's never been in their life. I'm given a 2-year restraining order. That 2-year restraining order ended 2 days ago. In December 2023 at family court. The result is after I've done absolutely nothing, and my son has been stolen out of my life, that my son lives with her till he's 16, the restraining order stays in place because they can't change it, and I can write my son a letter once a month to a PO box that the mother's choosing. I then said, but if I write a letter, she'll throw it in the bin. They said, there's nothing we can do about that. To this date, I've never had a PO box to write my son a letter. Anyway, the restraining order ended 2 days ago. Yesterday, as you know, I rung and left 2 messages. I heard nothing. Today, I WhatsApped the 2 messages, the 2 mobile numbers I have for the mother. One looked like I've been blocked because it didn't go be sent or anything. The other one was sent but not read. I've just checked it now, and now it's both gone, so it looks like she's blocked that number. The home number's permanently engaged. So basically, this is a reality. In my life, my son is missing. Because the reality is, they could be anywhere in the UK, they could have gone anywhere. I don't know. So, I also sent a WhatsApp to her sister to let her know, can she advise me if Martin has a new number? I've heard nothing. So basically, in my life, my son is missing. So on Monday, I'm going to be ringing the original police force that I spoke to, the original bail conditions that were normal child contact, and I'm going to say, can someone let me know that my son is alive? Because at the moment, no one cares. And basically, my son was stolen out of my life on the 15th of April 2022, premeditatedly. There was no mention of any issue with my son, yet nearly 3 years later, I've not heard, seen or spoken to him. And he has vanished off the face of the earth. Now I'm trying to contact him. There's no restraining order on me, as agreed with Thames Valley Police, and the numbers I'm ringing or I have are either blocked or not working. So on Monday I'm going to ring them. The reason I'm not going to do it the weekend is because obviously I've got to do something to live. So I've got to go and do some bits and pieces to get some money. You know, and I'm going to go on Monday, I'm going to ring the original force and say, I need someone to go and do a check on my son to make sure, one, he's alive, one, he's happy, and more importantly, he understands that his father is trying to get hold of him. Because I feel that since the 15th of April 2022, he could have been told anything, and not one person in the family court system has cared, including Kafkas, the family courts themselves, and anyone I've spoken to, any court case. No one cares. In fact, Kafkas wrote in their report, there is no sign of parental alienation in this case, when actually not one human that ever knew my son in 10 years has ever heard, seen or spoken to him again since the 15th of April 2022. So that's what I'm going to do, and all I want to do is know that my son is safe, well, and that he knows his daddy wants to tell him that he loves him. Stay tuned.
If you like Deano stories and you want more, and you've got stories of your own that you want told, get in contact and we can sort something out.